Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. It's someday. Let's see, what is it? Thursday, I think. Yeah, it's Thursday. Fires are burning in Canada, and we can't breathe here in Michigan. Hope you guys are having a better time. Ooh. So is Madonna dead? No. She had some bacterial infection. Can you imagine Madonna with an infection? Scary, right? I'm the Ranty Monkey, and I'm here to entertain you for as long as I can. Hope you guys are well. Man, the air quality here sucks. Yesterday was worse than today. Tomorrow, or I guess what you guys would call today, is supposed to be a little bit better than yesterday. But good God, can't even leave our damn house because Canadians can't get their shit together. How you be Canada and can't figure out forest management? Seriously. Anyhow, it's supposed to be better come this weekend, so hopefully we'll be able to open windows again in the house. It was stuffy as shit in here today. It's like, do we die or bake? I said a long time ago that we should nuke Canada. And if we had done it then, all of the fallout would be done by now. We'd be all right. We'd be okay to open windows and shit. But nah. Like, no, they're our Canadian neighbors. Fuck them. Anyway, hi guys. Just a little ranting, whining at the beginning of the show. We got some stuff to talk about. Little bits here and there. Got a new law coming out of Michigan. We talked about it briefly before, where they're getting rid of a law. Well, they're changing a law where it used to be that you couldn't be mean to people based on their ethnicity, and it was very specific stuff. And now it's your perceived expression, basically, and it's a hate crime if you do it. We'll get into that a little bit later, but first we're going to talk about Mr. Tyler Kincaid. He's the asshole on the thumbnail. He's the asshole who wrote the article yesterday that told us that the NYC chant at the little gay parade they had there of "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children" wasn't a big deal. And even only one person said it. Only one person. This is Kyle. Thank you so much. Hello, chat people and monkey. Good news. My sister's Little League softball team just won their division finals, and now they're going to state. Well, congratulations to them. And thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Mr. Tyler Kincaid. He starts his article by telling us, you know what? Do I still have that article where I can get to it quickly? Oh, you know what? I do, because I tagged him in it. We'll get to that in a minute. So we went over this yesterday, but just as a refresher for anybody who wasn't here, this is how he starts the article. He tells us, over the weekend, a short video circulated widely on social media of an unidentified person at a New York City march during Pride festivities saying, "We're coming for your children." And then if you read the second paragraph, he tells us that the crowd was actually chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're not going shopping." But one voice is louder than the crowd. Now, the problem with that is he leaves this link right here. You see that link right? It says 20-second clip. I'm sorry, 21-second clip. That 21-second clip proves that this part right here is a lie. It's an absolute fucking lie. And then on top of that, he says this part: it's not clear whose or whether the speaker was a member of the LGBT community, as though it was some plant who got in there and did it. Like it was some Christian right people who just hate the gays. So they came in there and said, "I know what we'll do. We'll say we're coming for their children. We'll tell them that we're going to bang their kids." He said it was just one person. I mean, it's an easily refuted lie, that 21-second clip right there. We're not watching it again because I don't feel like putting up the filter to get booby chick out. But it's a lie. It's an absolute lie. And then he tries to make it sound, it could have been some subterfuge in there. Could have been some sabotage. Except that it wasn't. It was clearly the group. In fact, The reason that we're not showing the video, the floppy titty lady is one of the ones who does it at least twice. But anyway, he goes on to then tell us, but it's not really a big deal. It's not. Look, they took it out of context. It was taken out of context. And in fact, what they're doing is they're just snatching back the grooming title. Sure. Yeah, that should be a thing. We're taking back being called pedophiles. All right, I guess so. Whatever works for you. But the rest of the story is him trying to convince you that it's not a big deal because they've been saying it for years. It's in the headline. They've been saying it for years. Is it in the headline still? No, it's in the tweet that they put out for it. It is down here, I promise you, though. We've been saying it for years, and in fact, Brian Griffin, the guy who organized the march, he said worse. He said, "Kill, kill, kill. We're coming to kill the mayor," and that they regularly sing, "God is a lesbian." Yeah, that's the same as "We're coming for your children." But yeah, right here. See, I told you. I promise it was here. The chant has been used for years at Pride events. And this bugged me, and I mentioned it yesterday several times because it really does bug me. Why lie? You put the proof that you're lying right here. It's at the beginning of the second paragraph. You prove to us that you're a fucking liar, that it wasn't just one person. But if it is this cultural thing, if it is you guys taking back your grooming title, if it is something that's been chanted for years, so I don't understand why people are so mad about it, then why lie about it only being one person? Why? I don't understand that part. It seems like you feel it's a big deal if you're going to lie about it at the beginning. So I asked him about it. I reached out to old Tyler Kincaid, and I just asked him, "Hey, Tyler, I'm really curious why you lied about how many people were chanting 'We're coming for your children,' which can be seen is a lie by watching your linked video. But also, why lie about it if it's cultural and taken out of context? If it's no big deal, why lie?" Now, I should point out, when I sent this to him, he had already protected his tweets. You see, he's gotten quite a bit of pushback over saying that "We're coming for your children" is no big deal because they've been saying it for years. And so he locked down his Twitter. But here's the thing about Twitter. You can protect your tweets and you'll still see if I tag you, if you're looking. And so I tagged him, and this was his reply. So it's no longer just I know he saw my tweet because he fucking blocked me over it. No answer for it. No, hey, the reason I got that wrong, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Somebody told me. I didn't even watch the video. Somebody told me. At least that would be a fucking answer, right? I'd probably be a fucking lie, but at least that would be an answer. But instead of answering, nah, we can't deal with any facts here. We can't deal with anything that points out what a bunch of lying fucking shitbags our press is. And this is another reason why this story bothers me. It's because this is our press. This is NBC News. Granted, around here, that doesn't mean much because we make fun of them all the time. But out there in the real world, that's who people are getting their news from. People are getting their news. I know people don't like to hear this. I know online folks like, no, nobody watches the mainstream media anymore. This wasn't on TV. This was on their website. So yeah, people have stopped going on TV as much to find their news, but they're still going to NBC and CNN and ABC and all of these, their websites, to get their fucking news. And these people are lying constantly. Sorry, I had some Canadian wildfire in my nose. These people are constantly lying and getting away with it, all the while saying that people like me, oh, I'm just a liar in my basement who's trying to malinformation you guys. You know, I I do my very best not to lie to you guys. And I sure as fuck wouldn't show you guys a video that proved I was lying right before I went into my lies. But over here at NBC News, they are so used to it that it didn't even faze them. It didn't even faze them. They put the proof at the beginning of the fucking article. And it bothers me. I don't understand why people lie in the first place. Look, I'm not going to say I've never lied, but I do my very best not to lie. And here's why. It's not because I'm some virtuous person. I found it's not all that productive. It's easier to just be honest. But even in that situation, I understand why some people do. I understand that some people lie, to protect themselves, to protect others, because they think they're going to get in trouble. In this guy's case, because they want to push a false narrative. Okay, all right. But why would you include the proof that you're lying? Yes, exactly, Faithless. They know they get away with it. Have you seen any mainstream source come out and talk about how Tyler Kincaid lied here? Any of them? I haven't even seen many online people say that. I haven't seen many people point out that he literally lies in this whole paragraph. Actually, it's the first two paragraphs, while providing proof that he lied. They get away with it. Now, if I made the slightest mistake, my haters would be out there, oh my God, see, you're a liar. And people who make mistakes, real mistakes, get called liars all the time. Oh my God, see, you're just one of those liars. Meanwhile, the largest liars out there, our mainstream media, get away with it. People like Tyler there. Mr. Tyler Kincaid, he gets to lie with impunity. Why? Well, because he has one of those nice little badges that says NBC News. That means his lies aren't actual lies. They're mistakes, y'all. He included the fucking proof in the paragraph with his lie. How do you do that? And genuinely, guys, I wasn't trying to, how do I put this? Because I knew the question would probably irritate him. So I don't want to say I wasn't trying to annoy the guy, but it was genuine curiosity. I didn't post that question to him until almost a full day after the show where we talked about it yesterday. It's not like I immediately went after the show and it just kept eating at me because I don't understand. I don't understand. And maybe Faithless is right. Maybe that's what it is. They just know they can get away with it, so they don't put any more thought into it than that. Hey, we included the clip so people can see it. We included the clip. You lied about what the clip said, knowing most people aren't going to go click on it because you the right wing. What they call it again? It was on a right wing web streamer channel. Right wing web streamer channel. That's an interesting turn of phrase. He didn't point out that the one that he's actually linked to here is Tim Pool. He didn't say on Tim Pool's Twitter. He didn't say that. Right-wing web streamer channel. Do you think most of the people who watch NBC News are going to click on that knowing it says that? Oh, it's one of those damn right-wingers. And by the way, Tim Pool, right-wing, seriously? We need to get the Overton shift back just to keep me and him from being put in that same circle. Didn't want to give Tim the citation. I don't think it was even that, Faithless. I think it was this way you can make it sound scurry and less legitimate because streamer channel, not like our NBC News. Did I do that with the proper do? Remember when they used to do that? Never mind. But yeah, they couldn't even give him a little bit of credit there. Tim Pool's right-wing streamer channel? I don't know. Yeah, but Tyler's a giant coward and a liar. So from what I know of you, sir, your virtues suck. You're a liar and a coward. You couldn't even come up with another lie to make that sound better. You just block. You could have just fucking ignored it. Just ignore it. But nope, got to block because he might come back and ask me more questions another day. Oh, what a fucking cowardly piece of shit. And I mean, that's most of our news today, to be honest with you. Most of these people, look at people like Taylor Lorenz. I mean, this is a woman who went on TV and fake cried about how abused she was and how she'd been doxxed. And what does she turn around and do? What was it, within a week? 2 weeks? When she goes after libs of TikTok and goes and harasses their family. Nobody should be harassed. And goes out and harasses their family. No, I was doing it as a reporter. Bitch has been caught lying more times than I peed in my life. And they still treat her like she's some kind of hero. Why? Well, because she's a stupid lefty. Although she has fallen off with them a lot because everybody else is done with mask mandates and she's still pretending she has long COVID. And people are like, oh, shut up, Taylor. But it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. Over and over again, these people get away with this and they go out there and they lie. And then when they get caught, it's like, can you believe how they're abusing me? You're lying about people. You're lying about people and fomenting hate towards them. By your own standard, you're spreading hate to them. But it's okay when you do it because you have that press badge. I am a member of the legitimate press. I'm going to make myself a badge so I can say that. They're all a bunch of goddamn liars. And when they get called out on it, what do? They go into hiding. Now, I got blocked by Taylor Lorenz. Not once, but my cousin got blocked too. So we got a family blockage going on here. And I didn't say anything mean to her. I just questioned her about real shit that she's done. And block. I can't be expected to answer those questions. And all of these motherfuckers out there who we pay attention to misinformation and disinformation and malinformation. We make sure that you get the right information. Not one of them calls these guys out. Not one of them calls out the mainstream media. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not one of them that is paid attention to outside of folks like me and you guys, because you guys are smart. None of them get picked up by this shit. All of the official ones, like the one we were reading about the other day, our federal government they're not running it. They just give money to other people to run it. They don't go after any of the mainstream news sources that constantly fucking lie. Ever. Because, I mean, they're in bed together. They're the same people. It's all part of a propaganda smear. Now, this doesn't mean that they've gotten together and go, oh, you guys lie for us and we'll lie for you. No. It's an unspoken thing in most of the time, in most cases. It's just, they work for NBC. It's time to lay off of them. Unless, they've done something in their past that they've decided this week has to be punished severely. If Tim Pool suddenly got hired by NBC News, they would still, Tim Pool's probably a bad example. If Steven Crowder suddenly got picked up by NBC News, guarantee the malinformation folks would still be out there. But everyone, they just, we're going to go after Cat Turd. We're going to go after libs at TikTok. We're going to go after Carpe Donktum. We're going to go after people who have popular Twitch page or Twitter pages, not Twitch. Twitter and Twitch. One of y'all needs to name yourself something different so I stop stumbling over that. Anyhow, I'm annoyed. I hate our press. I have for a long time. I started noticing probably back in my 20s just what a bunch of dirty shitbags they are. And back then I used to say, oh, it's not left or right. It's just whatever they can get away with. It's just Twitcher, merge them. Yeah. I said the same thing that you'll hear people say these days. Oh, they smell blood in the water. It doesn't matter which side it is. And I believed that for a long time. I really did. And then I got older and smarter and paid more attention. It's clearly left wing. And if you don't believe that, ask yourself what shifted the Overton window. What drives trends in America? Do they just pop up? Is somebody hanging out in, I don't know, um, Duluth, right? And they just suddenly sense that in New York City they're doing something. Oh my God, my New York City sense is tingling. It's time I started wearing my titties out, or whatever fad it is. What drives fads? What drives news? What drives media? Retro, thank you so much for the gift sub going out to Lesser Logic. I appreciate it. Guys, remember, you can absolutely become. Stop doing. I got to figure out what that is. Sorry, pages keep trying to open up for Twitch since I took Twitch off of my my OBS, but OBS isn't open, so it shouldn't be doing that. I don't know what's going on there. Probably have to go over to Twitch and unallow it. So, yeah, the whole conversation is driven by the media, both news media, huge fucking quotation marks around news media, and then your popular media, your movies, television shows, music. It's all driven, and it's all been driven one way. Have you noticed that we're careening off the fucking lefty cliff right now? And it's not blood in the water. There was blood in the water with Obama. This motherfucker sold guns to drug cartels and got Americans killed. This motherfucker used the IRS to target political opponents. And nothing happened. And by then, I'd already seen, especially under the Bush years, not a big fan of Bush, but the press was ridiculously unfair to that man. Not saying he didn't deserve a lot of hate or anger, but not what he got it for. But then the Obama administration comes around, and you see how he's, during the general election, hailed as this absolute hero. The guy had done nothing in his life. He'd accomplished nothing. What was his job? Community organizer. Could you tell me what that actually means? It means I organize in communities. Yeah, but how? What do you organize? I organize communities. And he had no qualifications to be president. He had no accomplishments to be president. He'd only been a senator for a couple of years. He had literally no reason to be there. But boy, did they sing his praises. And before anybody goes, well, he's a black man, Jesse Jackson ran for president. And arguably at the time when they first announced, his name was a lot bigger than Barack Obama's was when he first announced. And they didn't support Jesse. So it's not just that. I mean, they knew that would be a big winner for them, but it's not just that. It was just the push to the left, And oh boy, was he their little commie leader. Oh boy. And they let him get away with everything. And that's when I was like, it's not the blood in the water thing. Do they still do that from time to time? A little bit. They did it a little bit with Cuomo, didn't they? For all the wrong reasons. Cuomo kills a whole bunch of old people by throwing COVID-affected people into nursing homes and lies about it, lies on the forms that they send to the federal government. And people start asking a question or two here and there. But they're like, we got to do something because people are starting to notice. And so what they do? They drummed up these bullshit sexual harassment allegations. They were some of the worst sexual harassment allegations you ever heard in your life. The one, I am not making this up. You can go look. The bitch said she went to this party. He invited her to show her this room that I forget what's in the room, but a big room in the mansion where there's lots of stuff to see. And then they left. Did he touch you or say anything? No, but he took me to that room. Seriously, that's one of the allegations against Cuomo. And that, because they knew that there's getting a little too hot for this. A couple of people started paying attention to them old grandmas. Couple of people. And so, all right, we'll make this a big thing. And then it gets to just resign and it all goes away. So was there a little bit of blood in the water? Kind of, but not the kind you would expect the news to go after. Something like the, president of the United States selling guns to drug cartels that ended up getting U.S. citizens killed. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for the feminist $12. Is there any hope we can remove the poison dagger that is the mainstream news? I fear it's already pierced the heart of this nation. It's a depressing question. And it's a depressing question because I don't know. I don't think so. The real truth of it is this is how people are being raised, is how they're being taught. And we'll get into that in a minute with the Michigan law. But from an early age, people are taught that this is the right way to think, that don't question anything. If the news says it, it's real, but only if it's the real news. All of this indoctrination bullshit is being pushed everywhere. And the worst place is being pushed is in our colleges, where your next group of journalists is going to come from. Can we fix it? I mean, theoretically, yeah. Theoretically, you could finally have a revolt where people are like, no, fuck this. But it would take them all not watching any of that shit anymore. Wrong. They got rid of him because he was getting very popular among the Dems for prez, and he had ambitions. I don't think he had ambitions to go anywhere at that point. Maybe for the coming election, but certainly not then. But no, it was because the COVID euphoria had worn off. And a couple of, I can't believe I'm saying that, brave Democrats who, for whatever reason, wanted to get rid of him, probably because they knew, remember, he was getting ready to run for re-election, and he would have become a fourth-term governor up there, unprecedented, and they didn't like that. And so a couple of them actually blew the whistle on him, one of which sharing information that the governor had been threatening him. And because of that, yeah, it started getting more traction, and we got to get rid of this guy. It wasn't a presidential thing. It was still the governorship. Anyhow, so let's talk about Michigan. Michigan is passed a new law. At least it's passed in the House. I don't know if Whitmer signed it yet. The witless one, maybe. Now, this is going to be a little dry. I apologize. But it's the actual text of the bill. I don't want to read somebody else's take on it. This is bill to amend 1931 PA 328, entitled the Michigan Penal Code, by amending section 147B as added by 1988 PA 371. The people of the state of Michigan enact a person is guilty of, it used to say ethnic intimidation. They've crossed that out. A hate crime. If that person maliciously, and then they cross out a whole bunch of shit. So we're just going to jump down to the part they added. Maliciously, intentionally does any of the following to an individual based in whole or in part on an actual or perceived characteristic of that individual listed under subsection 2. We'll get to that in a minute. regardless of the instance of any other motivating factors. 1, uses force or violence on another individual. That's fair. I'm all right with that. Well, yes, if somebody's using force or violence, and as long as we're talking physical force, yes, that should be illegal. Cool. Number 2, causes bodily injury to another individual. That's getting a little vague. Causes. How do you mean causes? Like, I hit him with my car? I mean, because that should be covered under the violence in the one above. I don't like that. Causes. Now, the other thing there would be you tell somebody to go do it for you on your behalf. And in that case, all right, I'm with you still. I'm with you. Intimidates another individual. Can you define intimidate? Don't worry, they do. We'll get to it in a little bit. And finally, damages, destroys, or defaces, wait for it, any real, personal, digital, or online property of another individual without the consent of that individual. I'm sorry. That's real vague. By that metric, if somebody has a forum on their website and I go over there and say, this place fucking sucks, I would technically be in violation of this. This place fucking sucks. But you did it because they're gay and queer and somehow still heterosexual. Now, and then let's see, threatens by word or act to do any of the actions described under subsection A through D. So that's just the ones above. I'm going to threaten to write a mean tweet. All right, here's the characteristics that are included. Race or color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, physical or mental disability, age, ethnicity, national origin, association or affiliation with an individual or group of individuals in whole or in part based on a characteristic described under subsections A through I. Sorry, subdivisions. So if you're affiliated, if you're an ally, you're an ally to the let's go with the gender identity or expression group. You're not even one of them. You're a heterosexual man, but you're an ally. And somebody says something mean about you online on your website or on your Twitter, or defaces. That's defaces your online property. Now, I wouldn't mind it so much if they had been a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more clear on what they were saying on some of this, but they're not. Rumble's gotten a lot more user-friendly over the last few months. Oh, they really have. Yeah, they've been working on it a lot. For those of you who haven't seen it over there, yeah, you should check out Rumble sometime. All right. Now, the rest of this is pretty standard legal fare, which we're not going to go through. It tells about what kind of punishment you can get, that you can be sued for it, that there's if you do any of this while having a gun. So let's say you go on to what's that guy's name Tyler Kincaid's Twitter, and you type "you're a groomer," and they decide that you can't say that about him because that's defacing his public his online property, and you happen to have a gun in your possession at the time you type that, that's even more prison time and fine for you, and an extra 5 years, and I think it was $10,000 or $100,000. I can't remember. But here's the part I wanted to get to: intimidate. Well, let's go to the first one, because there's two definitions, and the first one is the gender identity or expression. Means having or being perceived as having a gender-related self-identity or expression, whether or not associated with an individual's assigned sex at birth. So we now will legally have assigned sex at birth as part of our laws here in Michigan. Not noticed at birth, but assigned. She's going to sign this crap? Of course she is, Eagle. Of course she is. But here's the intimidate. Means willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. Intimidate does not include constitutionally protected activities or conduct that serves a legitimate purpose. Here's my problem with that. You know, they've used the metric of what a reasonable person would think in many laws. It's used in self-defense laws, what a reasonable person would feel. The problem is the gender expression folks don't tend to be very reasonable, right? And we're told over and over again, day after day after day in news cycles about how people feel threatened because somebody said something to them online. Doesn't matter what was said, but they harassed me. Well, look at me. I got kicked off of Twitter. I'm only back because Elon let me back. Before then, I had a permanent ban. I was never coming back under the old regime, guys. And what did I get kicked off for? Harassment. What was my harassing behavior? I showed it on the fucking stream. I answered somebody. They answered me back being shitty. I got a little shitty and answered them back again. And I never responded to them after that first time, except when they were responding to me. I kept it within that thread. That person went to 2 other places to respond to me again, including one where it was a picture of my cat and made a shitty remark to me about my cat. And I was the one who got kicked off for harassment. You can't have this kind of nebulous bullshit. And frankly, I have a feeling that if anybody gets hit with this, it's going to the Supreme Court and will be shot down because this is horrifically worded. Horrifically worded. You were on a conservative list to begin with. So far, I've never seen myself on any of those lists. I'm a rather small person. I have, less than 7,000 followers over there? And at the time, less than 6,000 because they were... A weird thing used to happen on Twitter, and I mentioned this to Jack, and me and him used to watch it. Anytime I would get close to 6,000 followers, I would suddenly lose 400 or 500 all at once, and it would slowly crawl back up, and then bam, again. But yeah, since they're gone, oddly enough, my numbers have gone up a little bit. But yeah, the whole thing here, a reasonable individual to feel terrorized. Do you know how often we see terrorized misused, harassed, frightened, threatened? What the fuck? No. Look, I don't think you should be out there being mean to anybody. If you commit violence against somebody, I don't care why you did it. I don't think you should get more punishment because you did it because it was a Tuesday or because they were gay. It's the same fucking act. And you're not going to make people suddenly not racist or sexist or homophobic or transphobic or whatever ist you can come up with because you tack 5 years onto their actual crime. That's literally thought crime right there. It's why I fucking hate crime laws. They're stupid as shit. They make no sense. It should be, you murdered somebody? All right, you're going to jail for the rest of your life, or depending on what state you're in, we're going to fry your ass. It shouldn't be like, all right, you killed that white guy. That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry about that. But you killed a black guy? Hey, oh, no, sorry, man. You got a few years on that. Pumpkin Trucker, thank you. This law isn't going to be evenly, is it? You dirty cis Christian male. No, it won't. It's not going to be applied evenly. No, it won't. This is being done specifically as a political payback, I guess, to the other states that are out there, trying to keep your kids from getting touched by weird men in dresses. Like the ones who were singing that they're coming, chanting, I guess, coming for your kids. I mean, they did have the singing of "we're going to convert your kids." Yeah. How's Michigan not committing a hate crime by their own definition? That's a good question. It's a good question because I feel threatened. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel fucking threatened. South Park knew hate crime laws were wrong 23 years ago. True. There was a big argument even before the South Park argument or the South Park episode. But there was a big argument about this. Like, this is just wrong. It's virtue signaling bullshit. And instead, they're like, no, we got to do this because virtue signal. And it's one of the worst things that has happened to our country legally. Does anybody here think if you murder somebody that it's all right? I'm not talking about self-defense. I mean murder. You murder somebody. That it's okay under any circumstance? Yeah. Murder's a crime, fucker. I know, but he murdered a black one-legged lesbian cross-dresser. Are we allowed to say cross-dresser? Cross-dresser. That's at least 60 more years. Does this law cover political harassment on both sides? Well, Maddie, it doesn't say. Alan, thank you so much for the donation with no message. Appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, so this, we just need to get back to allowing people their free speech. And if you don't like it, don't listen to it. But it was part of it. It was part of it. This was attacking ideology. Look, I don't like racists. I think I've been pretty fucking clear on that. But they're allowed to be racist as long as they're not manifesting it physically. They can go out there and say whatever stupid fuck. You're allowed to have bad or wrong or weird or fanciful ideas, depending on, what you're allowed to not be with the mainstream. And all you do by trying to have thought crimes is make other people wait. Why are they trying to close that down? Why? It's almost the Streisand effect before the Streisand effect was even a thing. Who cares, I guess. I'm going to die in prison because I called Tyler Kincaid a fucking queen. But my fire in a crowded theater, yes, they always get that one wrong. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Actually, if there's a fire in that crowded theater, it's probably best that you do. And in fact, you can yell the fire in the crowded theater. If nobody gets hurt when you do it, you're probably okay. If everybody gets up and walks out single file because you yelled fire in the theater and there was no fire, well, you didn't cause a panic. So it's actually not against the law. Oh, they hate that one. Now, bombing an airport, they might have a point on that one, but only because federal law is full of shit. Anyhow, there's no fire. The worst that's going to happen to you will be getting thrown out. It depends on what happens because of you yelling it. Nothing for you here. If you yell that and there's a stampede and two people get smothered or smashed because you yelled that and they get killed, trampled, you're going to prison for it. Anyhow, all right, we dealt with Tyler's dumbass. We dealt with my state's dumbass. Oh, I can't believe I live in this state. I can't believe my state is going this way. And it's only going to get worse. It really is. Where's that fat fuck? Where's that dumb fat piece of shit? Hang on a second. There he is. Robbie Reiner. You fat. Best known for being meathead in All in the Family. And then he made a movie or two and people are like, oh, I guess we should listen to him for our political advice. I know the legal process has to play itself out. But the sooner Trump is convicted of federal crimes, and he will be, the sooner we can get back to, wait for it, strengthening our democracy. This is, look, guys, I know a lot of people in the audience like Trump. I don't hate Trump, but this is what I was talking about when I said Trump made things worse. And it's not because of anything Trump actually did. It's because of the perception of him and the media coverage of him and how pushed it got. Would it have been different with somebody else? Not necessarily. They probably would have gone after him just as hard, but Trump fought back a lot, and they really fucking hate that, which just threw fuel on the fire. I'm not saying he shouldn't have fought back. I'm just saying it's what happened. Nothing strengthens our democracy like jailing political opponents. Yeah. This is the kind of shit that we're dealing with. That to strengthen, if Trump gets convicted, it has nothing to do with democracy. Literally nothing. Not a damn thing. Nobody's voting on it. I mean, I guess there's the jury that votes on it, but that's not a system of democracy that we would talk about when we're talking about strengthening democracy. That's a jury of your peers, which they won't be a jury of your peers. How many peers does Donald Trump really have? But this is what's being pushed out there. 13,000 likes on this thing. 13,000 people think Donald Trump going to jail will have something to do with strengthening democracy. Here's the thing. You can hate Donald Trump all you like. But him getting reelected, if he does, because that's what they're talking about, taking him out of the election. If he got reelected, that's just democracy, fucker. That's literally what democracy is. Although in this case, it would be through the electoral college system. So it's not direct democracy the way it is, in the House and Senate. But they're literally whining that he might win an election. It's going to hurt our democracy if he wins an election. What? Okay, now I'm starting to understand why you guys don't understand the words socialism and Nazism and fascism. You guys don't understand any fucking words. Not a goddamn one of them. You just throw out a word. You guys say democracy because you guys think it's this holy grail. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe in direct democracy. I don't. I think the electoral college is right. I think the old way we pick senators was the right way to do it. Direct democracy for the House, sure, because they're the House of Representatives. The Senate is supposed to represent the state. So all of these things, they keep a check on democracy because democracy in and of itself is just mob rule. Do you guys remember what I told you guys about January 6th before January 6th happened? Do you guys remember? I told y'all, mobs are dangerous. Mobs are dangerous. You can whip them into a frenzy quickly. And sorry, if you guys hear that clicking, that was me getting lotion. My hands are dry as fuck. But anyway, I was telling you that about January 6th. Mobs are dangerous. Mobs are dangerous. And that goes for a Democratic mob. You can whip them into a frenzy. Why do you think there is a October surprise every fucking election year? Do you think that's because mobs are carefully thought out groups of people who sit down and contemplate the world? No. It's because you can get them all riled up with a single fucking headline. That's what they do. We don't have elections. We have who has the best October surprise. That's what we have. And it's why they buried the Hunter Biden laptop. Because that was a good October surprise. That would have knocked Biden the fuck out. There'd have been no way. So they had to, we don't have a good one on Trump. We got to just bury this shit. Democracy isn't a horrible system, but it's not a good system either. It's better than an autocracy or a monarchy, but it's still not a good system. Oh shit, Jack, are you here? Oh damn, I never heard you come in, my friend. What's up, dude?
I'm sneaky like that. How's it going?
Good. Except for now, I feel bad because I didn't hear the notification. Probably because I was yelling at my mic at the time.
Yeah, you're good at that.
It's what I do. Yeah, we're just talking about Mr. Rob Reiner here saying that if Trump goes to jail, we can get back to strengthening our democracy. And I'm trying to figure out how those have anything to do with each other.
Well, democracy is enjoyed by one group of people, and that's gang rapists.
Yes, indeed.
So that will forever be emblazoned in my mind as the greatest example of why democracy is a terrible idea as opposed to a representative republic.
Yeah, what's the old joke? 8 out of 9 people enjoy gang rape.
Yeah. They voted for it.
Voted.
So, I mean, that is pure democracy at work.
And that's why pure democracy, just saying that doesn't mean anything. Hitler was elected, not by the people, but by the whatever their parliament is. He won an election. Does that make it good that he was the shithead that he was? No, because nothing for you says I was 9th. Sorry to hear that.
Bummer, dude.
Yeah, that's a rough place to be. Anyhow, yeah, so I'm not against democracy, but I'm just tired of all this, them holding it up as this holy fucking grail. There was a time when you'd hear Democrats saying, we need to stop trying to export democracy around the world. Do you remember that? It wasn't that long ago.
Yep. Yeah, because they hate our system because we have a bunch of people that want to return to like monarchy where they're a bunch of nobles.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, we're better than you.
Tailfin says, I am fuck democracy. I don't know a better system, to be honest with you, other than what we use for like our presidency. We have a check on blatant on wholesale democracy.
Yeah, because wholesale democracy is dangerous. The founders knew that.
That's
how they got emperors in Rome. So you have to be very careful and have checks and balances for every branch of government.
Did Zelensky actually suspend elections? I keep hearing that, but I haven't read anything.
I haven't had a chance to look it up.
I haven't looked into it. So for those of you wondering why we haven't brought that up, I just haven't looked into it. Now, we do know he absolutely did suppress parties. He actually made it illegal to be part of some parties. He suppressed the press. But they love his stuff. He's awesome. Give him more. I saw a poll today that said 64% of Americans support giving Ukraine more guns. And oddly enough, Jack, hear me out. I don't mean to be conspiratorial. Maybe I've been watching too many conspiracy things lately, Jack. But we have this ridiculous failed coup in Russia. You have the Wagner group taking their wagons into Rostov and Moscow and then just turning around and leaving. And there's some evidence that they never even did that. They never moved into Russia at all. They stayed in Ukraine where they were. But that happens, and then
might have been some kind of propaganda thing.
Immediately after that, there's a Rasmussen poll done in the 2 days of the aftermath. Previously, if you go back to May, the number of people, the poll that they had showed less than 50% of Americans. I want to say it was 48, but don't quote me on that. Less than 50%. I know it's less than 50. Said we should be sending guns to Ukraine. After that, suddenly it jumps up to 64%. Now, if I were a conspiratorial man, I might think that all was all done just to, pump up support for Ukraine. Since then,
No.
we've seen all kinds of stories. We've seen all kinds of stories about how horrible the Russians are doing. It's going so badly for them. Where? Haven't seen any evidence of it. I just see some people saying it.
Yeah. They seem to have secured the Donbass region pretty well, and it's down to like effectively trench warfare.
Yeah. And this Wagner group, the Wagner group, they were a big part of one of those spots up there where if 25,000 troops pulled out of there, the Ukrainians should have been able to move in, at very least break the line. And what was it they did? Oh yeah, nothing. Nothing.
Okay, I just looked it up, why they're talking about Ukraine like that. This comes basically from Tucker Carlson's most recent video on Twitter. And he seems to be citing a BBC interview with the Ukrainian leader on June 22nd, according to Newsweek, in which he said there would be elections in 2024 if they win the war, because they're supposed to have parliamentary elections this year and a presidential election next year. This is a quote from Zelensky.
Well,
this is a global question. If we win, there will be. So there will be no wartime, martial law, no war. Elections will be held in peacetime when there is no war, according to the law.
So that definitely sounds like they're suspended till the war's over.
Yep. Which is a good motivation if you want to be a dictator to never end the war.
You know, we're privileged here in America, Jack.
Oh, we are so privileged.
We are very privileged. And here's what I propose. We have a vice president who's not doing anything. She's not doing anything. I say we give her to Ukraine to help in their time of need. We'll send her over there to be a special advisor to. We'll take her citizenship and everything too, so she can go over there and help them, because she's brilliant. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
She does seem to know a lot about electric buses.
And we'll send Corinne Jean-Pierre over there to help with the propaganda, because she's great at it. I think we should help spread our privilege of women in our government over to them. What say? You know what? For health reasons, we can send Rachel Levine too. I don't think that the Ukrainians they don't enjoy the privilege we do of having a woman with a dick in their health departments. So I just think we should do that to help out our Ukrainian friends, because I believe in their democracy. And by the way, they can't come back no matter what happens. Thanks for going with me on that. All right.
I'm just fantasizing, and I like where your head's at, but I don't know if it goes far enough. Oh, knee pads really needs her ilk could need a life lesson. I don't know, man. Look, I think we are such a soft society that we've strayed so far away from where we were in like the 80s. I don't think, unless we have a major war and we lose quite a lot, I don't think that anything's going to change here. We're going to continue to be this stupid.
I believe you. I see nothing to show any different. I mean, you have a whole country supporting a country that is quite clearly run by a dictatorial shitbag. A guy so... I don't mean to insult the other countries of NATO, but how corrupt do you have to be for NATO to go, yeah, we're not taking you?
Right? You have a bunch of fucking dictators and mass murderers, and they're like, "Nah, you're corrupt."
Nah, you're just a little too fucked up for us. Anyhow, Jack, let's move along just a little bit. Let's move to some pop culture. We haven't had a real pop. We did discuss the Flash movie the other day, and this is kind of the same thing, but we haven't had a decent pop culture discussion in a while.
No, that's true.
So let's talk about this idiot. This guy is upset about people who are cheering that the Flash sucked. He says this:
"Who?
For the people celebrating hashtag the Flash movie bombing, I hope you know that this will hurt all future comic book movie projects. Financiers are going to be way less likely to back comic book movies in general when one like this does so poorly."
Well, maybe don't make it shitty.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. My point would be, did you ever see Fanforstic?
Yeah, sadly, I own a copy. That was
This would be the Fantastic Four reboot. The Fantastic Four reboot was straight trash, and this comes from somebody who liked the first two movies.
Oh, that second movie was dog shit, dude.
Look, I'm not as big a Fantastic Four fan as I am like Spider-Man.
Well,
so
yeah.
I can accept the story easier. I know people who like the Silver Surfer fucking hated that movie.
Yeah, Galactus was a big pile of rubble. No, you need a big dude in a purple helmet.
And all of that is fair, but to me, it was just like, okay, it's a superhero movie, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but still, just for some comparison, I like those movies, and I watched that other one, and I hated the whole thing.
Yeah, because it was garbage.
Starting with Sue and Johnny not being blood related, so that they could put a black guy in the movie.
Yeah, the racial swapping thing is so trite and lazy.
If you were going to, let me ask you this. The solution is simple: make a good comic book movie and people will support it. But again, not necessarily. If you're talking about the audience, yes. But this guy's worried that they're not going to make any more. They made, how many have been made? When did Fantastic Four, the reboot, come out? That's been years.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
How many comic book movies have been greenlit since then?
Oh, quite a few.
Dozens.
Yeah, well, there have been shitty comic book movies forever. There was one back in the 80s called Captain Invincible. There's still superhero movies got made after that. Let's not forget Batman and Robin was a complete shit show. I know you like it. You're like one of 5 people that I've ever met that love that movie for some fucking reason.
That's another really good point. While I like that movie, it doesn't mean it was good. Most people fucking hated it. They made more Batman movies. How many have been made since Batman and Robin? At least, what, 5? 4?
At least 4, yeah.
Because the Nolan trilogy and then the new Batman one, plus they made the Joker. They've done 2 Suicide Squad movies.
Plus Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn.
Birds of Prey. By the way, one of the Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey did horrible at the box office. They still made another Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Birds of Prey tanked, and Margot Robbie was still playing Harley Quinn.
Yeah. It's as if all Hollywood's going to shut down. Well, look, there is a belief that comic book movie fatigue has started to set in, and there may be some truth to that. But if you look at the movies that have tanked that they try to point to for this, like, look how bad The Flash did. Flash is not okay, I don't know much about him, Jack, okay? So please understand. Fast. Exactly. I'm your average audience member. All I know about the guy is he runs fast. Like, what kind of major plot event is he going to have where he's going to carry a big budget movie? He's a TV character.
Yeah.
was probably the best place for him.
That's the problem with a lot of superheroes is they would make better TV shows.
Yeah.
Because they could do that serialized format like Lost did, where you could have a story arc over 3 or 4 episodes and then do a new one.
Even more so, go back to when we were kids and they had the Spider-Man TV show. He never fought any of his villains.
No, it was all like mobsters and corruption and shit like that because it was cheaper.
Which makes more sense for a Flash type villain or even a Punisher type villain, honestly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Punisher did fight the mob more often than not. He only had a couple of actual supervillain types like Jigsaw, but they were all grounded in reality. They weren't superpowered people. The Flash, the 90s show, did a real good job portraying his villains. Even Mark Hamill was on that show for a little while. If you go back to the John Wesley Shipp series in the 90s, they did a really good job with the limited budget and costuming, and it was better than a CW show.
The other movies that we've seen, Tank, let's see, we had The Externals, which nobody's ever heard of.
The Eternals?
Eternals, sorry. The Eternals, my bad.
Yeah.
Well, look, I even got the fucking name wrong.
Yeah, the movie sucked balls.
I haven't seen that one, but what'd they have? Like 35 characters they had to introduce or some shit?
Oh my God, it was ridiculous. It was a team that almost nobody's heard of, and even comic fans don't really care about. They're popular because Jack Kirby made them, and they're just a knockoff New Gods from DC. It was lazy. It wasn't particularly interesting, and the characters are kind of stupid. So you made a big budget movie about characters that nobody really cares about except for a very tiny group of people that are more obscure than the Guardians of the fucking Galaxy. And, oh my God, it tanked. Yeah, you paid a bunch of money for a bunch of big name people to be in a movie with obscure characters that were even more convoluted when they hit the screen.
I've only seen like 10 minutes of that movie and I didn't care, so I turned it off.
Yeah. Dude, I struggled to sit through it. It was rough.
Pretty much all of Phase 4 for Marvel was crap compared to Phase 3, especially.
Yeah.
You have a Black Panther that doesn't feature Black Panther. You have a Thor movie that gave us Titty Thor.
And it was so unfunny.
Yeah, with one of the big criticisms we've been talking about with these kind of movies is just humor in the wrong places. So it's not necessarily that it's comic book fatigue. It's bad movie fatigue.
Yeah, they're just churning out content, not movies.
Is there some fatigue? Sure. I've seen lots of people going, I just wish they'd make something other than comic book movies. And it is fair. But the problem isn't the comic book movies. It's the writing. You mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy just a moment ago. When Guardians is announced, most of us don't know who the fuck they are. Never heard of them. And when it first opens, it does okay, but that's not what made it. It was that it was a good movie, and people were like, you've got to go see this one. It's funny as shit. It's a really good movie. Go check it out. It was word of mouth that pushed that on. Word of mouth of the Eternals was don't waste your money. Not, oh my God, it's another comic. It was don't waste your money. Same with Flash. Don't waste your money on that thing, guys. If you have a streaming service, wait. I'm sure they will have it on there. Probably next week. That movie was just trash.
Yeah, and actually, it is coming to streaming very soon.
See? The movie was just garbage. So I do get the super Razorfist talks about this a lot because he's like, no, comic book movies, they're dying. And he's not wrong. But he always points to it as, with Westerns, because Westerns had a big thing and then they died off. But the problem was they still made Westerns. And when they made good ones, people still turned out for them. It's a good movie that people want.
Well, Westerns became more selective because they started churning out crap too.
Yeah.
And And that genre lasted for 15, 20 years before it really hit the skids. Because like shows like Gunsmoke went on for ages. That was such a long running show. Same with like what was the other one? The Wagon Train?
Something they had like Wagon Train and Rawhide and Bonanza.
Yeah. Bonanza, that's the one. That was on TV for like a whole generation. But yeah, they're just churning crap out. If you look at like Miss Marvel, it was aimed at teenagers, preteen, like 12, 13 years old. It was shit. Secret Invasion was one of the most boring fucking things I've watched in a long time. Oh, this shaggy homeless dude wandering around kind of doing something with this very vague, nebulous plot that doesn't make a lot of sense. They're just churning out stuff. They're like, here, this exists. Watch it. That's not how you make successful things. Shit, I got a couple of chats here. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Keldrig. Razor Fist made the point that if superhero fatigue is happening, it's because the quality of the product is pretty shit. I think he's right. Yep, he actually sent that 3 minutes ago, so you guys are like simpatico on that. And thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. Oh, come on, Jack. I could point a camera at my hairy white ass and record myself farting and be better than the CW bullshit. That's a true story. Only exception is Superman and Lois, which isn't bad. Well, it got canceled, I think. But they're definitely guilty of some pretty woke-ish stuff. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it still had a fan base, even though a lot of that crap was woke, and they race-swapped a lot of people like Firestorm and Wild Dog.
Comrade Kitty, thank you. Wait till Abby shows up on the Last of Us show. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Are they making a second one?
Yeah, it got greenlit.
Okay. How are they going to do that? Because Abby's supposed to age to about the age she looks in the first one. Not Abby, sorry, Ellie. Isn't that her name? Ellie?
The weird face kid, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. When it comes to this, what Razor Fist gets at in his, if you haven't seen him, Jack, is that it's going to die regardless, and that it does die because there is fatigue and the product just sucks. And he did a video not too long ago talking about this again, where he's like, yeah, by the time that you get to the end of Westerns are they're just throwing shit on the screen, and it's guys in cowboy hats. And he's not wrong about that. But again, that makes the point that it's not the fatigue of the genre. It's the people who are making it are destroying the genre.
Yeah.
If not Captain, not Civil War, Winter Soldier. If something like Winter Soldier came out today, whatever comic book it was, Jack, let's say the new Captain America. Let's say it comes out and it's as good as Winter Soldier was. It would do very, very well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it'd be word of mouth. People saying this movie is great. You got to see it.
Yep.
And it really does come down to word of mouth because nobody wants to spend $20 to see shit at a theater.
Ministry of Wrong Thing, thank you. Westerns weren't chain smoke multiverse stories that required seeing every other Western. Marvel oversaturated the market with a de facto monopoly. See, I'm going to disagree with you there because I don't think you needed to see everything. You didn't need to see all of 1, 2, and 3, phase 3 to get to the Thanos story. Did it help? Were there Easter eggs and stuff in there on your left? Yeah. But did you have to? No. I've still never seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I've only seen bits and pieces of the one that Flatass did.
You don't miss anything.
Last of Us season 2 for a hole in one. Man, I hope they do the butt rape scene in that show. You've seen that on there, right?
Unfortunately, I've heard so many bad things about that.
Yeah,
I would never play
it. I've heard good things about the game as long as you ignore the story.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Again, with a lot of the stuff that they're putting out, it's just woke propaganda, and it's lazy and boring. They don't have really any action. They just have a lot of people talking. It's the same problem with the comics. They got rid of all the action and adventure because they're like, they're aiming it at cis white males. Yeah, that's the target demographic, you dumb shit. Bud Light's learning this the really hard way, that you don't want to stray too far from your core audience or you start to lose them.
Look at the latest Spider-Man movie. You still have your woke stuff because they brought it in the first one. You got somehow the bully is a math nerd. MJ is a little brown girl, and Ned Leeds is a fat computer wizard.
Yeah.
But that movie still worked enough that audiences went and saw. Even I like that movie, and I hate every Spider-Man movie because of the way they fuck shit up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very angry.
Make a good movie, and people will go watch it.
Yeah, it's not that difficult to figure out how the hero's journey works and put it on film. It's a thing we've been doing for thousands of years.
Yep.
But they have to keep trying to tinker with it. And it's just not working anymore. People are sick of what they're doing with it, and they want something more interesting.
All you got to do is make a good movie. People will turn out. And for this, hey, those of you who are cheering this out, one, people are allowed to cheer for something to fail. All right. And Ezra Miller is a shitty person. And the fact that they canceled so many other things and kept this piece of shit greenlit with him on the screen twice throughout the whole fucking movie, I understand people cheering its failure.
Yeah. I think they had no choice but to release this film. It was too far financially in. They were pot committed at that point. They could not release it because they had $400 million wrapped up in that fiasco.
I hear you, and since you already have it basically finished, by all means. But didn't they cancel? Was it the Supergirl or the other one?
Well, they canceled the Supergirl before it got out of pre-production. Batgirl was like 99% complete.
Yeah.
But that one must have been really, really bad. If they released the Flash and can that one, I really want to see that now. Not pay for it, but I want to see it. Because holy God, that must have been worse than porn.
Yeah. If you guys see the Flash movie, you'll understand what we're talking about. It is just so bad, and they canceled something else for being too bad.
Yeah, Zaslav said it was unwatchable, and if the Flash movie was watchable to him, this must have been one of the worst cinematic experiences of all time. Like making The Room look like a masterpiece.
In fairness, the Flash does have a couple of scenes that are like cool. So if that's all you're going, like when Michael Keaton shows up in the Batman outfit,
yeah.
If that's all it takes to go ahead and greenlight it, then maybe they just didn't have enough cameos in the other ones.
Well, Michael Keaton was in that movie. He was supposed to. They were stealing the Batman Beyond storyline where he's old Batman and he's training somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So to completely can that and then redo the ending of the Flash, because they, because of the storyline that we know, that movie had to have been bad. Had to have been bad.
See, I'm of the opinion, if I'm them, because if they're 99% complete, they've got at least 100 mil into it. I still release it at least on the streaming platform.
Yeah, I mean, I would have, and then just let it become a cult thing where people make fun of it. But with the big reboot coming with James Gunn, I guess they didn't. Well, so maybe somewhere down the line they'll release it, but I don't know.
Sorry, I've started yawning. Took my pills right before the show,
yawn.
So about an hour in is when I start yawning, and here we are. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this one up because, look, I don't have to like your fucking movie, and that movie deserved to be shit on.
Yeah.
I don't like what I know about Ezra Miller. You can tell the studio didn't like it because they didn't have him doing any press for this movie.
No, dude's a weirdo.
They had Supergirl out there doing it, and she's in the movie for like 5 minutes. Her total screen time can't be 5 minutes.
It's probably a little longer than that, but not much.
And her total dialogue time isn't 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, her dialogue time, and let's face it, what she was saying wasn't that impressive or memorable. It's just such a bad movie.
They sent her out to do press because Ezra's such a shitbag.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, there was a time, Hollywood, when if you had somebody who acted like him, that would just be the end. But he's non-binary, so.
Oh, yeah, which makes him magical and protected.
Anyhow, what else I got on the docket today? I don't remember. It's been a weird day, man. I wasn't planning on going to sleep, and I went in there and laid down with Lady Monkey for a couple of minutes as I tuck her in every night, and I just laid down beside her and we were talking. And suddenly I was like, I'm going to bed. I blame the Canadian wildfires.
I do too.
This one's just funny. This guy says, my wife wanted Wendy's. I did not want Wendy's. So we compromised and we're having Wendy's. I've been there, my friend. Although that's not true. Me and my wife have we are the same as every other couple. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? But when I tell my wife I don't care where we go or what we have, I mean it. She does not. So like, she'll be like, what do you want for dinner? And I'd be like, we're out and about. Like, how about we stop and get Taco Bell? Oh, I don't want Taco Bell. Well, what do you want? Oh, anything. Like, all right. How about Wendy's? I don't want Wendy's. Well, what the fuck do you want? Just say what you want. She can literally name anywhere and be like, all right, let's go there. I'll find something to eat. She's the picky eater, the two of us. But it's the man-woman shit where we're both trying to be too kind to each other. Like, just make a fucking pick. I'll eat there. I promise.
Circus Zero made a really good point. It's a good time to chill because we haven't done that in a while.
At all.
At all? Oh,
at all.
Geez, Monkey. If you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button. It helps Monkey's fragile ego to hit the like button. He likes big numbers. Subscribe if you haven't. Share it on your social media. And if you're feeling generous, you can toss us a couple bucks at the Streamlabs linked, which is going through the YouTube chat right now and is pinned at the top of the chat. And it was going through the description of the Rumble chat. So hit us up with some cash if you like the show. It's how we make a living.
Eagle says we're really smoky around here for a few days. Haze in the air. Wednesday, which would be, to me, still, for some reason I call it today, but it was last night. We had a 150 number. I don't know what the 2/3 or 3/4 garbage air. The day before that was a 200. And what that meant, Jack, is if I looked out my window, I couldn't see the end of my street. And my street's not that long. My street's maybe a quarter of a mile long. And I couldn't see the end of it. That's how bad the air was here.
Ugh. It's starting to look like a horror movie after a while. You're like, am I in Silent Hill? What the shit happened?
Michigan gets fog like that sometimes. We'll have a really bad fog, but it doesn't last all day. It's, a couple hours in the morning, all day long. All fucking day long. Yeah. Anyway, so be safe if you're in Michigan and any of the other places that Canada's fucking up right now. All right. You ready for this, Jack?
Oh, probably not.
It's time for our Krassenstein update.
Oh, God.
What?
That guy's such a fucking retard.
It's time for our Brian Krassenstein update. Miss Chaya Raychick? Am I even close?
Just call her Libs of TikTok.
Libs of TikTok. Chaya Raychick. Fuck. She says this. Good morning. Today is day 4 of Brian Krassenstein trying to tweet his way out of the mess he created for himself. Anyway, I've got things to do. And he responds with, I call you out for sharing a naked video when kids follow you. No, actually, what you did was defend grown men in public with their dicks out in front of kids. You attacked me with a clear lie. I literally stated I was against the bike event, even in the parent thread of the post you shared, claiming I defended naked men flashing their privates at kids. Yes, because in that same thread, you said it's really no big deal. They've probably seen their brothers and dads naked. Because instead of just saying you didn't like it, you kept going. You then explained why it was no big deal. You appear to have caused a lunatic to threaten to kill my kids and others to call me a pedo. All right. Nobody should be threatening any of these people. If you really are concerned that his children are in danger, you should be calling the local authorities, not fucking with him. All right. However, the people calling you a pedo, Brian, all right, I don't know if you're a pedo, but you saying that kids see their brothers and fathers naked does make me wonder, because you have kids. Why do you think it's normal for your child to see your dick, Brian?
It's just weird.
Yeah, at the very least, you need to wear better fitting underwear.
Or just underwear.
Or just underwear. You should be a little more modest around your children. And finally, Brian says, you then refuse to debate me and block me, yet you are the good one in all of this. Yeah, she was calling out grown men riding their bikes naked, and you were saying, kids see my dick see their dad's dick all the time. And he can't figure out why he's the bad one in all of this.
Well, he still hasn't figured out he's the ugly fat one, so
he hasn't. No,
I'd be willing to bet that. Well, first of all, she doesn't owe you a debate because you're stupid.
Yeah.
And who wants to beat up on a retard for like half an hour? It's not fun. That's not entertaining. It's just kind of sad.
Brian, I'll debate you. I'll do it.
Oh my God, I don't think he would ever want to talk to you.
I'd be happy to do it. I would explain why this is so fucked up, and he doesn't get it. I'll explain it to him.
Yeah, well, you'll have to dumb it down a little.
I would ask him, like, how many times are your children seeing your dick a day? Because they shouldn't be. Why do you think that's normal behavior?
Yeah. Real fast. Thank you, Cryptic. I looked out the window and my dad was slumped over the lawnmower crying his eyes out. I said to my mom, "What's up with him?" She said, "He's just going through a rough patch."
Nice.
Wow.
What else did I have today here? I forgot about our thing. I already did that.
What happened to the other Krassenstein?
Ed, he's still around.
Oh, is he? Nobody talks about him anymore. Is he just not saying anything exceptionally retarded?
He doesn't argue back as much. He basically just takes his stuff that he put into chat GPT and posts that. It's funny because I checked a Krassenstein tweet from Brian today. And if you put his quote on his tweet into Google, it pulls up a Reuters article where he put it in your own words from high school.
Oh, God.
He just cuts out like every fifth word of the actual sentence they had.
Wow.
80% of it is identical, but he didn't even change the words around. He just took words out. It was funny as shit. That's hilarious. Answer people with chat GPT. It's amazing how many people are using it for their tweets right now. There's a ton of people who are using different chat AIs to do their tweets for them. And all you have to do is go over to chat GPT, write me a tweet about Vladimir Zelensky being a great man, and then you can say in the style of humor, and it'll pop you out a tweet, and you just pop it up, and people think you wrote it.
Oh my God. Cirque said Brian was asking for defamation on lawyers on Twitter. If he sued her, the discovery would be fucking hilarious.
He does understand that any defamation there's on his side, right?
No, because he's stupid. But if her lawyers got their hands on him for a deposition, that could be one of the funniest fucking things. Can you imagine the questions they would ask him?
Remember, no, I get you. He came after her.
Oh, yeah, but he's stupid. He doesn't, first of all, he probably doesn't remember he started it. But yeah, he's not a smart man.
She posted the original video, not tagging Brian at all, and not saying anything about Brian. And that's where he responded to it, going, she's showing this to 13-year-olds. You suggested she was showing that to kids purposefully. That's the defamation here, homie. No, but I did miss that. I wish I'd seen that tweet. Fuck. All right, Jack. Oh, we got some breaking news. It's breaking.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready for breaking news?
Sure.
It's breaking. For anybody who missed it, this is breaking. 250 plus public figures call on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter to protect against anti-trans / anti-LGBTQ hate and disinformation in a letter by GLAAD and HRC. Now, I need to know what. All right, can somebody help me here? Anti-trans and anti-LGBT hate. Isn't the T trans?
Maybe.
I'm so confused. Signees include Forehead Page, Ariana Grande, Shawn Mendes, and more. So GLAAD, for those of you who don't know, it's the Gay and Lesbian Alliance and Diddlers. They are a major LGBTQ group that they've been around for a long, long time, but recently they are really getting a lot of traction. And they have a whole bunch of people signing on to ask all of these social media groups, most of which already are way overprotective of trans and LGBTQ people, to be even more so. Have a good night, Pyrus. And this is they're literally calling for more censorship, and they're proud of it. Now, Jack, you know me pretty well.
Yeah, indeed.
How do you think reading that a whole bunch of fuckers want to censor people more went over when I read this shit?
Probably like, oh, you're full of shit.
Actually, I only got one bit of hate because I said breaking, you guys are a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And one of my stalkers, not UFO, but somebody I'm not convinced isn't UFO pretending to be a girl.
Yeah, UFO sock puppet account.
Said to me, I'd rather be a pussy than an asshole. Like,
that sounds gay phobic, homophobic.
I suppose so. I mean, if
that's
you
just
want
them imposing their heteronormative perception on everybody.
I'm a coward is all you said to me.
Yeah. I'd rather be a coward than a jerk.
Yeah. I may be a jerk, but I'm not a coward. And of the two, I'd rather be called a jerk, honestly. We don't need any more censorship. We have plenty of it already.
But people still are getting mild pushback from the haters on the interwebs. We need a total hug box.
Now, which do we want to do first here? I want to save that for later because that's fun. We talked a little bit yesterday about Mario Nafal.
Oh, I was hoping you were talking about the other Mario.
No, this asshole. And how he's out there threatening to sue people and trying to buy people off. We're not going to read this article. You guys can read it at your leisure. Excuse me. But this is an article that is going over all of that stuff. Enjoy it for what it is. Maybe we'll get into a bigger Mario breakdown later. But just an update to what we were talking about yesterday. The guy that they were trying to silence has wrote his article. Pride comes before Nafal. The guy's a dirty piece of shit. Anyhow, this is the one I really wanted to watch. And again, we're on my shitty internet, so it's going to be jumpy for you, but you should be able to hear it. And I will pause in between, probably multiple times. I know. No, but for a reason this time, Jack.
Oh.
This is Peter Hotez, the one who's been fighting with Mr. Kennedy there.
Yeah, this guy looks like the junior mad scientist.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he look like he should be the scientist, I'm using air quotes, on a kid's show about science?
Yeah, or like the lackey for like Dr. Frankenstein.
Hi, kids. I'm Mr. Test Tube.
Yeah. You want to get in my van?
Well, these are 3 different clips of this man. 2 of them from the same month. The first 2 are from April of 2020. The first 2 are from April of 2020. Third is from February of 2021. And it's him talking, Jack, about vaccines. Now, YouTube, I'm not going to argue with him. This is him. He's one of your guys, so I should be allowed to say this. But before we get there, Cryptic, thank you. How do you know when you have walked into a gay church service, only half of the congregation will be kneeling? Well played, sir. Well played indeed. Thank you for the donation. All right. So the first part will be April 2020. This is right before he says the other part in April of 2020. But here's the first one. Oh, I got to hit play on the screen.
It's usually a 10 to 25 year time frame. People forget how long it really takes to develop an effective and safe vaccine and do all the adequate clinical testing.
All right. So his first statement is that it takes 15 to 20 years to get a safe vaccine and do all the testing, Jack.
Yep.
15 to 20 years. You guys got that? 15 to 20. This is in the same month. He says this.
The current record for developing a vaccine from start to licensure in the United States is around 3 or 4 years. So that's the realistic time frame we have to start thinking about.
When you look at.
All right. So now the record is 3 or 4 years. And so that's if the record is 3 or 4 years, why would that be the ideal time frame? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
When you're let's say you're at the football combine there to get new people onto your team, and you're looking at these recruits, and the record time there is 4 second 440. I don't know what the record is, right? But that's the record. You wouldn't look for everybody to be 440. You would a 4 second 40. You'd expect some of them to be like 4.2, 4.5 would still be acceptable because that's exceptionally fast. You wouldn't be like, only the fastest is how you do it now. That's not how you do it. That's not how records work, actually. I don't know if you know this, Jack, but most people who do anything don't set a record in it.
What?
Those are the exceptions. But anyway, we now have a 3-year time frame. We went from 15 to 20 years to 3 years.
I think what he's saying here is that it normally takes 15 to 20 years, but the all-time record was 3 to 4, and that's what we could hope for in this situation, with the COOF. So we have to hope that they can get it done in 3 to 4 years, so mass extinction doesn't happen or something.
Well, hang on. Let's listen again.
Licensure in the United States is around 3 or 4 years. So that's the realistic time frame we have.
The record is 3 to 4 years, so that's the realistic time frame. That could be the hope, but it wouldn't be the realistic time frame, not if the average is 15 to 20. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I understand. You're not wrong. It's just, I think this guy's hedging his bets, as it were.
All right. Now, less than a year later,
to start thinking about
when you look at.
Okay, less than a year later, he says this.
The timelines of coronavirus this COVID-19 vaccines, it really follows the same progression as almost any other vaccine.
What? The coronavirus vaccine was a year. Less than a year. We had 15 to 20, then he gets it down to 3, and now a year is the normal progression. Can you guys figure out why this guy does not want to talk to Bobby Kennedy? Oh, Jack. Oh, Jack. Look, YouTube, I'm with him. I think 1 year is normal. I think that's exactly how all vaccines have been said, except for when they were 15 to 20 years. They're working on this stuff before 2020, not for this vaccine. Not for this vaccine. They've been looking at making antiviruses. They had not been using, at least as far as I knew, the RNA. That comes up later. That comes up when they're like, okay, we got to get this now because we have no other way to do it. Because at the time that the COVID vaccine comes around, most places have moved away from RNA because they could not get it to work. That's just fact. Don't be mad at me, YouTube. It's fact that people were moving away from it. People had stopped putting money into it because they couldn't get it to work. What's up, Beast Boy? How are you? I'm only halfway through your video from today about Hunter, but man, when you got to the part, because he made a new Hunter Avalone video, and the first part, because it's a series of things that he had done. So in the first one, he's talking about Hunter, and at this point, Hunter hasn't made a video or stream in almost 2 weeks. Well, the second part is him watching Hunter's stream from the other day, because Hunter finally came out and streamed, you guys. He finally came out and streamed. And Jack, I don't know if I told you this, but in the stream, Hunter says, it's not just cope. It's not cope. You know what? Anybody who says cope in the chat is getting banned.
Wow, that's cope.
And he said, and the reason for this is because there's people out there who are just going to believe anything about me that they want to believe because they just hate me. People hate you because you're a douche. Okay.
Yeah.
They're saying cope because you're coping.
Yeah, not very well either.
He keeps lying about the time frame. Because we went over the time frame. His wife was already talking to this guy about sucking his dick long before they actually broke up. We know this because she mentions in the one tweet that he ruined everything by putting out the divorce announcement, and that's when they decided they weren't going to be together anymore. That's what she said. And he's like, no, we decided long. He also says this, Jack. Her and I have both been with other people already by this time. Hunter, stop it.
Your hand doesn't count as another person.
Your left hand isn't a new person. Isn't a new partner. Ain't nobody fucked you. Stop it. I'm not a cuck. All right. Technically, from what we know, your wife. Wait. I was gonna say your wife didn't take any dick, but you just told us she did. You said we both been with other people. Wait. So had she been taking dick or not, Cucky? Because that certainly, being with other people certainly sounds like she took another wiener. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, he is mad as fuck. It is funny as shit. We're not going to watch it here, but he's got it on his Twitch. I don't remember if he's uploaded it all to YouTube yet, but just for the humor of it, it's worth watching. A better way to watch it is to watch BX Beast Boy's video from earlier today. Like I said, it's maybe 10, 15 minutes into the video where he gets to that part. That fucking piece of shit. It's funny though. When he said that, I'm going to just start blocking people who say cope. I'm like, could you prove him wrong any better way?
The video that Beast Boy put out the other day where it was an ad, that was fucking hilarious, man.
Oh, yeah. Beast Boy also came up with one that I hadn't seen in this. Apparently, Hunter went on to Stardust Stardust was this chick who started to get big in the debate bro community, and then somehow her star fell. She still does her thing, but she doesn't get as big of an audience anymore. But she was apparently talking about the Hunter situation, and Hunter came on, and I just want to thank you for being so fair about all of this. She kissed his ass the whole thing because she's not all that confrontational. She tried asking him questions, but either she doesn't know enough of the story, or she really is maybe she's the one Hunter boned. I don't know. But yeah, it was so bad. And he just kept saying the same stupid shit over and over. The text prove it. The text proved that your wife was going to bone 5 black guys and get peed on in the backyard for $8,000, and you think that's a win. He even said that, man. Like, she was only going to do this for $8,000. He's going to give her $8,000. $8,000. So she's a dirty whore.
Yes, that's prostitute behavior.
I mean, I don't know what win you think that is. It's the same thing with him. I don't know why you guys think it's a loss to be banging your wife for money. All right, homie, time out. If you were just on OnlyFans banging your wife and you both made a bunch of money off of it, maybe you could make that argument. But from the text, we know your wife was paying you to get you to sleep with her because you can't get off with a woman. Where's the Chad behavior of having to be paid to sleep with somebody because pussy just don't do it for you? I mean, I guess it's weird. Stevie says this whole story is crazy. It really is. And I'm sorry, you guys know I love my drama stuff. I've been watching the rest of it from afar. We only did the one real show on it because that was funny as fuck. But yeah, I am still watching all this shit. And check out BX Beast Boy. He's been covering it daily almost.
I just dropped the link to his latest stream on it. So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So go check it out, guys. BS Beast Boy is criminally undersubbed.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. Don't want to hear this fat retard in a bow tie anymore. That shit off my screen. I hate when I forget to close videos. Go ahead.
Did you already watch the Biden clip?
Oh, no. I hadn't seen that one. Oh, I was sent the Krassenstein tweet. DM me if you're a defamation attorney who works on contingency.
On contingency? Fuck off. Nobody's taking that case, you dumbass.
Wow. Brian. I do have that clip here. There was another one I haven't watched from the same thing where apparently, oh God, that's annoying. I hate when they do Trump used to do this too, right outside of Marine One. It's so hard to hear, but guys, we are going to watch it. I don't know if we should just turn it down quite a bit, or Jack, let me know how bad this is.
It's hard to tell.
It's a little loud, but
we'll turn it down. It's just his volume versus the volume of the helicopter. There's not much we can do, but anyway, here we go.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home.
Is he talking about the 80s?
Well, I don't know, but I'm really glad that Putin is losing the war in Iraq.
I mean, there was the Iran-Iraq war back in the 80s where it was, their proxy against ours. But as far as I know, Putin's not near Iraq.
Well, I mean, this resolves 2 conflicts at one time. We already left Afghanistan, and now we can blame Iraq on Putin and be like, it's his war. He found it.
It's his war. Do you see the all the questions and stuff because he had the marks on his face?
Yeah, it looked like he just woke up from a nap, had like the pillow lines.
Yeah, instead, they've come out and said he has a CPAP machine. And they said, we've been telling people this publicly since 2008. So I went and found it, Jack. And in 2008, one time they did mention that he had sleep apnea.
That doesn't mean he has a CPAP machine.
No, the CPAP is new, but the sleep apnea is from 2008.
Oh.
Here's the thing. The reason that they said he had sleep apnea is they blamed his stroke, or his he didn't actually have a stroke, he just had a blockage on his sleep apnea. Yeah, 15 years ago they blamed it on his sleep apnea and didn't give him a CPAP machine until this week, apparently.
Okay.
They think he's throwing blood clots because of it, and they did not give him a CPAP machine.
Wow. I'd be more inclined to think that's where they hooked him up to his Borg recharging station. But
probably. Oh, that's, Stevie, that might explain a whole lot here. I'm sorry, Jack. I didn't mean to interrupt, but Biden did say his son died in Iraq. Maybe that's why he hates Putin so much. He thinks Putin killed his son.
That would explain a lot. That and they are messing with his money laundering facilities in Ukraine.
Yeah, but this whole sleep apnea thing popped up, and it just reminded me of the stuttering thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. If he's wearing a CPAP machine, I don't care. Of all of his problems, that's the least of our worries. But it does make me question his doctors if sincerely they thought he's throwing blood clots because of sleep apnea, and they did not give him one of these at that time. They were already starting to become popular. My friend's wife got hers right about this same time. I remember her showing us that Darth Vader mask and going, yeah, I'd probably rather die. I want nothing on my face when I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, no shit.
Anyway, yeah, so that's who's taking care of the vice president. Same doctor, by the way. So, yeah. Anyhow, it's good to know that Putin is losing in Iraq. I wouldn't want him to win over there.
Oh, no.
There's enough bad shit going on in the world than having Putin taking over that too. But for the record, don't believe any of the hype about Ukraine doing so well. They are lying to you. I don't know if you've noticed, Jack, but they've stopped showing pictures of like blown up tanks and stuff.
Yeah, because the last tank they showed blown up was one of ours the Russians blew up.
Correction. Several of ours that the Russians blew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I don't support Putin. Anybody go Putin, fuck you. Putin is a shitbag. He is a murderous shitbag. But so is Vladimir Zelensky. I don't care who wins their little fight. We'll make as nice as we can with whoever's left and sell them our goods and get rich off of them. That's the American way. I hate these people who pretend that we actually stand up to dictators all over. And the only ones that they'll ever call out that we don't is Saudi. Like, what about Saudis? They killed Khashoggi. Like, I saw our president giving a hand job to Xi. What are you talking about? We do business with all kinds of shitty people all over the world. Right. It only becomes a problem when the military decides it's a problem. And then suddenly the news is like, these are the worst. Literally 2 years ago, NBC maybe it was ABC. One of those two ran a report about the Nazi Azov battalion in Ukraine. And now if you say that they're Nazis, they'll be, how dare you say that shit? Isn't it funny how it works?
Yeah, very convenient,
All right, you got a couple of stories, and then I got one last thing to talk about, and then we'll wrap this one up. This can't be real.
No, of course not. Crazy shit's never real.
Not the Onion. Cervical Cancer Fund suggests calling vaginas bonus holes to avoid offending transgender people. All right.
That's so romantic. I'd like to put it in your bonus hole.
Isn't that the primary hole?
Depends what you're into, I guess.
It's the primary hole. For human sexual relations, that's the primary hole. The other two holes are the bonus holes.
No. See, the bonus hole is where if you really want to make a baby or something, you can put it in there. But, I mean, who wants to stick it in a slimy vagina? I mean, things come out of there, dude. Like weird shit, like babies and blood and stuff.
Thank you. I hope somehow Ukraine and Russia take each other out. That's even with our weaponry, that ain't gonna happen. They're just gonna blow up more of our weaponry. A cervical cancer trust is under fire for disgustingly suggesting that people call vaginas bonus holes to avoid offending transgender people. Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust, based in the UK, suggested the language in 2020, but it just went viral after it was noticed by people and posted on Twitter. Bonus hole, an alternative word for the vagina. It's important to check which words someone would prefer to use. The glossary of the trust website states. The website claims using the correct language. It's a vagina. The correct language when referring to someone's gender identity is a simple and effective way of demonstrating support and recognition. If incorrect language is used without being corrected, it can cause someone to feel hurt or distressed. This may lead them to leave and to eventually seek support elsewhere. Kind of brings that Michigan law into a little clearer focus, don't it?
Yeah, Evolved pointed out there are 3 holes: the bonus hole, the speaking hole, and the daddy hole. That's right. That's correct.
No matter which way you slice it, though, the bonus hole ain't the vag. That's the primary. I'm sticking by that story.
Well, you're transphobic, aren't you, mister?
No, I know where my wiener belongs.
Oh, you're always going for the bonus points, the 3-point shot. Look at you.
Remember, everyone makes mistakes from time to time. Like writing this down in the first place. It's important that you acknowledge them, correct yourself, learn from them, and move on. Dwelling on mistakes could make the person you are talking to feel more uncomfortable. Okay, look. If I say the word vagina, somebody goes, no, bonus hole, and they're being sincere, that's their new name. That's pussy hands. That is bonus hole from now on. According to a report from the Daily Caller, the glossary was made in conjunction with the LGBT Foundation. Oh, they don't have the Q on here. A charity that campaigns for LGBT rights. Comrade Kitty, thank you. So a non-man has a bonus hole for birthing persons and can be chest feeders, but a man is a man that can have a period maybe.
Yes. And occasionally babies if we so choose.
Yes. Naturally, the term bonus hole was not received well on social media, and they have a bunch of people responding to it. Females really went from women to birthing people to bonus holes in the span of 5 years. Yeah, they did.
To be fair, they were also front holes for a little while.
They have been called the front hole, the mommy hole. There's several euphemisms for vagina.
Yeah,
I never thought in my lifetime, Jack, I never thought I would get corrected for saying vagina.
Yeah, apparently all words are bigoted now. Somebody in chat said it. I think Michael said it. This is just to see how far people will comply. This is absolutely ridiculous. Although I did hear one of my gay friends refer to women as the breeder department.
Gay men have been calling women breeders for a long time as a little joke. It was never meant to be taken as a nope, they're breeders now.
That's become kind of a slur in the gay community against straight people.
Yeah.
And it's a sad attempt, by the way, because nobody's offended by that. Like, oh, you called me a breeder. Oh, I'm gonna go cry in the corner. Thank you, Keldrick. I know it won't happen, monkey, but a man could dream. would a Glass C really be so bad? Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. We like the Black Sea. It's good for commerce. You can't glass it.
All right, Jack. Let's see this one. I can't believe the world we live in.
It's getting dumber, dude.
Victoria police looking into claims officers identifying as gender neutral for extra $1,300 allowance. I saw this shit. That's funny. A number of Victorian police employees self-identifying as gender neutral has more than quadrupled since last year, new figures show. As the force confirms its investigating report, some of its officers are gaming the HR system in order to gain an extra $1,300 a year.
Well, why are they getting paid extra for identifying that way in the first place?
Right? Frosted, thank you. So if I spell out Kong in Donkey Kong, I get pussy? Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you have a system where you give people $1,300, just over an extra $100 a month for claiming to be gender neutral? What? Do they have some special need? I'm sincerely asking.
It's probably quotas. I don't know.
And why are you concerned about this? We're not supposed to be concerned about the fact that transgenderism in the United States, Jack, went from less than 0.1% to 20% of high school students. You're not supposed to, that's nothing to worry about. That's of course it did. We've just become more accepting. So obviously more of them are coming out, right? This only quadrupled. That's not that much compared to the other stat. Why would this be a problem? I feel like they're being transphobic here.
It does sound that way. At least the accounting department.
Alternative news outlet Discernible first posted on Monday that it was hearing unconfirmed reports from inside Victoria Police that management is pulling their hair out after a majority of the CIU, Crime Investigation Unit, in Southern Region changed their profile in the HR system to be gender neutral. Members have confirmed they will receive an extra $1,300 per year as a result of doing so, and it appears in their pay as a clothing allowance. Fuck. Wait. You're giving gender fluid, is that what it was? Gender whatever? An extra $100 a month for clothes?
Yeah, because that's how they identify now, right? It's a part of their identity wear. Because all this shit is fashion. That's admitting it right there.
This is Victoria up in Canada,
Australia.
right? Oh, no, this is Australia?
I think so.
Okay, Australians. Do you guys understand there in Victoria that you guys are paying your police $100 a month for clothes if they're non-binary? Oh, that doesn't sound good.
What?
There's thunder rolling. All right.
The thunder rolled. No, that's just the sound of trees breaking in Canada.
Popular Twitter account Voice for Victoria on Tuesday followed up writing, have had this confirmed. It started with a few people and now it's blown out to 20 to 30. 20 to 30, that's what you're worried about?
I mean, that does add up.
Sure, but I'm talking about the overall. Again, like I was pointing out with the numbers here in the U.S., from less than 0.1%, 0.03 was the number of trans people in the United States. Now, 20% of high school students are some kind of gender fluid bullshit. And you're not supposed to question that. If you question that, you are transphobic. This is going from a couple of people to 30, and they're like, oh my God, they're gaming this. Wait, I think there's a lesson here. I think there might be a lesson. They will all now get an extra $1,300 pay a year, tax free. What the fuck? Okay, Victoria, you guys are giving your police an extra. This is coming out of your tax money. an extra $1,300 a year for their clothing. And not because they're like having trouble finding clothes, but because they claim to need both sexes' clothes or no sex.
I'm gonna buy something gender neutral, like this T-shirt and jeans.
Management is apparently very unhappy and unsure what to do. Good luck to them questioning how staff identify.
Yeah, they're going to get a massive protest if they do anything.
I'm told this is intended to be a fuck you to the organization only and not the LGBTQI plus community. Well, of course. I don't even think it's that. I think it's, hey, if I can get paid extra for something that literally means nothing, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame these people at all. I get an extra $1,300 for just using this stupid ass thing. Sure, why wouldn't I? You literally do nothing.
And all you got to do is say my pronouns are still he, her, or he, him, she, they, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, hey, I'm gender fluid, but I still mostly identify with the male pronouns. What are they going to do? That's the fucking bullshit that we've been told.
Yeah. You can't call someone out for it because then you're a bigot. They've set the standard and now they're bitching about it. It's so pathetic. Leftists are fucking dumb, man.
This is what happens when staff are left under-resourced, overworked, and underappreciated for too long. I think, look, even if they were well paid and stuff, you think people aren't going to take the extra $1,300 for literally no real issue?
Right?
All right, let's do this in chat. All you have to do is on a form, say you identify as gender non-binary. And for it, you get a free $100 a month. Would you do it? Give me 1 for yes, a 2 for no. And I'll be honest with you, I would absolutely take the money. And it has nothing to do with my current living situation.
I think you have to phrase it like, would you do this or are you an idiot?
Yeah, well, that's fair. Put 2 in if you're an idiot. Put 2 in if you don't like money. Fuck yeah, I'd do it. And I would brag to everybody that I did it.
Yeah, I'm gender neutral now, guys.
According to the Herald Sun, the annual civilian clothing allowance is $2,554 for male employees and $3,647 for women. So you guys are even paying an annual clothing allowance to them in the first place. Jack, you know what? I don't spend $2,500 on clothes a year.
No, police uniforms are really expensive, though.
No, this is for civilian clothing.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I got nothing. This is fucking dumb.
That's what they're already getting, and they're getting a bump on top of that? Fuck yeah.
I figured it was part of their uniform allowance.
Yeah, women are going to be getting almost $5,000, and men will be getting $3,800. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Fuck yeah, I'd do that, especially if I was a woman. All right, well, there you go, guys. Game the system when you can. Jack, there are many things that I disagree with, but I will take advantage of them while they exist.
Well, yeah, but these commies do not understand what made the Soviet system so corrupt. And it's shit like this. Like, you give a system where you get rewarded for basically doing nothing and just saying the right thing. So sort of like a social credit score. And people are going to find a way to work the system.
Devil Fruit says accepting dirty woke money. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. I get punished by it enough. I'm sure as hell going to get paid if I can. Hell yeah. I'm better than that. Well, good for you. I'm not. I'm not. I would take their money and laugh all the way to the bank with it.
I'd like to have principles, but I'm poor. So.
It's not even that. Look, when Biden, and Trump gave out the big money for the COVID shit, I disagreed with that. I thought it was the wrong thing to do. We shouldn't be doing that. I spent every fucking dime of it.
Yeah.
With a smile on my face. Just saying. All right, Jack. The final thing I want to talk about tonight, we're going back to some pop culture. A little bit of pop culture. No, it's okay. Can you hear that? It's getting louder. Oh, the thunder
And
is
the
rolling.
thunder rolled.
We will be doing a game stream if we can, if my satellite will be all right. All right, here we go. This was from Undoomed. Which is your favorite Indiana Jones movie? We're not counting the newest one. Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and Crystal Skull. In that order, put them into chat. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm interested in y'all's choices. Jack, what's your favorite one?
Probably Raiders.
I went Raiders too, and I love Last Crusade. Last Crusade is a great movie. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
But I thought that the love interest in that, I think it came across a little forced, where Indy like bangs her one time, but suddenly he's like madly in love with her. At the end, he was so betrayed by her when she was clearly the bad guy from early on.
Yeah, well, especially when they established him as being a bit callous in the first movie toward women.
He's not like a horrible guy, but he's also not Mr. Romance. But I felt that part was a little bit forced, and that brought it down for me. Sean Connery was great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The story was good. I hated the beginning with River Phoenix. They tried too hard to. We don't need a backstory for everything. Like he whips his whip one time when he's young as River, and he gets the scar on his chin. Like we didn't need that.
No, that's a Hollywood thing.
Yeah, stop doing that shit. Temple of Doom, I like Temple of Doom a lot. It feels out of place in the indie universe, though.
I think they were trying too hard to make a sequel. I like the movie. I like it a lot more than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I'm one of the few people that didn't hate that movie. But yeah, you're right. It's not quite on par with the first and the third one.
If I remember correctly, it was supposed to be a prequel. It takes place before Raiders.
Yes.
And if it came out in that order, I don't know how well the franchise would have done.
I don't think there would have been a second movie. It'd have been like the Dick Tracy film where only certain people like it, which I like Dick Tracy too because it's cheesy fun.
Temple of Doom was way too cheesy, worse to the original film or trilogy. Again, I liked Temple of Doom is the first VHS tape I ever bought.
Oh, nice.
I'd gotten money for my birthday and it came out, and I'm a huge indie fan, and we didn't get to see it in the theaters, so I bought it. I remember what we had for dinner the night we watched it. We watched it eating spaghetti.
Nice.
Which, there's moments of that actually made my mom go, I can't eat right now. I get it. I do like Crystal Skull more than Temple of Doom. Wow. You might be the only person in the world involved. But I was curious where people rate them. For me, Raiders is Raiders, man. And I saw somebody say that the effects don't hold up that well. By today's standards, maybe not, but it's still not. It's not even the cheese that you see in. You ever watch Temple of Doom and watch the minecart thing?
Yeah.
Even when it came out, that looked bad.
Yeah, that was bad always.
And if you watch it today, it looks really bad.
It looks incredibly dated.
Yeah, so I've only watched part of Crystal Skull, and I can't bring myself to finish it. I just can't. I don't know if I'll see any of this new one. What's it? A Dial of Destiny?
Yeah, after what I've heard about it from people that have seen it already, I have zero interest.
It's not even from what people have said. It was the first trailer they released.
Yeah, well, the first trailer was like, I might see this for nostalgia purposes, but now I have zero interest. They're just trying to do the same shit they did with Star Wars and replace the lead actor with, a strong, independent woman that don't need no man because she's the smartest and the bestest and the most sarcastic. First of all, the people at Disney do not understand women, and
No.
they don't understand how to make a good movie, and that's a bad combination.
Retro says Indiana Jones and the final humiliation. That might be right, and I think we're going to end on that.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so very much for the donations. You guys, you have no idea. We really do appreciate it. Jack, anything you'd like to chill out?
I'll drop a link or something in the chat. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys coming out night after night to support us. It really does help.
Mess says my first VHS was a Betamax. I don't think you understand what VHS means. If Monkey's in rural Michigan, does he use snowmobiles in the winter? No. Those things are dangerous as fuck. You could not pay me to get on one. It's like if you live in a place like this and all you have is rear wheel drive on your car, you will understand immediately why you don't want to be on a snowmobile.
Yeah. Oh,
okay. From the back, we're going to push you really fast, and you might be able to turn a little bit with the front. No, I'm good. I'm good.
It's like a controlled fall.
Yes. No, thank you. I'm good. Besides, you know how many every fucking year the first snow, somebody died in a snowmobile accident. Like, of course. Yeah, they tried to turn and they hit a telephone pole. Yeah, sounds right. I'm not happy that it happened to them, but I mean that's physics. But no, I don't. Not the snowmobiles, man. All right, Jack. Thank you so much for joining me, my friend.
Oh, always glad to be here.
I'm going to be right here on YouTube on the channel Ranting Monkey Games. It's in the description, guys. Playing some Phasmophobia with Bubba if he's still awake here in just a little bit. So come hang out. That is Ranting Monkey Games. Link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Do you like that pregnant pause there?
Yeah, that was a little concerning.
It was dramatic effect.
Yeah, it was sort of like saying the results are when you're reading the pregnancy test.
Oh, indeed. Speaking of which, did you see Biden? I'm sorry, guys. I know I said remember, I didn't sing yet.
You didn't sing yet.
Did you see Biden's speech today or any part of it?
No.
Oh God.
Such an embarrassment.
He announced Bidenomics.
I heard that. I've been hearing that phrase all fucking day on the radio, on the TV. I was watching the news with my parents. And they were watching like ABC. And they're like, Bidenomics. I'm like, oh, shut up.
Yep. He's trying to take over Reaganomics because you see, he's made the economy greatest it's ever been. Lowest unemployment for women in 70 years, he tells us.
Oh, they've been trying to hype his achievements. It's sad. It's just sad. This is pathetic.
He also pumped up the infrastructure thing because they just announced the $40 billion being released to the states. We talked about it briefly the other night. And the reason they're doing this is because of everything going on otherwise. His son especially. They're trying to convince you he's still a good guy, even though he probably was, selling influence to the Chinese. And definitely was to the Ukrainians. Yeah.
But Monkey, China is our friend because they give the Bidens money. We
should
indeed just become a vassal state of them through the puppet government that we have.
Guys, we'll see y'all next time. Take care.
Bye.
I wish you weren't so right about that.
I know, I do too.
I wish you weren't so right about that. It makes me kind of sad. If you're one of Brian Krassenstein's kids, you'll see penis from dad.